Where is the news? Some missed news. It's the WrestleTalk news episode of News That You Missed with me, the man who presents to you the news that you might have missed from this week. It's me. I'm me, and here's the news. It's me, and this is the news. I'm Adam from WrestleTalk, and here are this week's 10 wrestling news stories you might have missed. Number 1, Big E's bizarre gift from Ridge Holland. Starting this week's news with some positivity, the power of positivity, if you will. Big E remains on the shelf after suffering a serious neck injury on the March 11th edition of SmackDown. During the New Day's match with the Brawling Brutes, and that name still sucks, don't worry, you haven't gone mad, Ridge Holland delivered a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor to Big E, where he landed on his head and neck instead of flat on his back. In a new interview with ESPN, Big E revealed that he is expected to make a full recovery despite the gravity of his injury. He also revealed that Ridge Holland sent him a big package of red meat as an apology for said injury. Despite being a great admirer of big meaty men slapping meat, the former WWE champion doesn't actually eat the red stuff and instead passed the gift to a friend. Big E added that he has no issue with Holland, understanding the risks they take as pro wrestlers, saying, "I have no issue whatsoever with Ridge. He's reached out and said some very kind things. What we do is dangerous. And there are inherent dangers, and to that degree, we all kind of know what we sign up for, and it was unfortunate they went down that way. But I'm not dead. I'm alive. I'm doing well." Number 2, why Dolph Ziggler returned on Raw. The main event of this week's Raw saw the return of Dolph Ziggler, who has made sporadic appearances since concluding his program with Bron Breakker in NXT 2.0. Not only did the man who's here to show the world, he's here to show the world, come on, turn babyface by costing Theory his tag match with Rollins against Riddle and Lashley, but he laid out Mr. Money in the Bank with a super kick to close the show. 2022 and Dolph Ziggler still closing Raws. Saints be praised. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, the former NXT champion was brought back to feud with Theory with the belief backstage that Ziggler can help Theory become a better performer in the ring. Dolph is one of the most reliable performers in the company and someone who should help with the further progression of Theory moving forward. And you know what? That's actually absolutely fair. Dolph's really good that way. Number 3, Naomi responds to release WWE star. After weeks of online silence, which honestly most of Twitter should consider trying once in a goddamn while, Naomi has started to get more open about her discontent with WWE following her now infamous walkout alongside Sasha Banks. Last Friday, the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion posted a cryptic tweet, then followed it up with another cryptic Instagram post last Saturday. This followed Naomi also removing all references to WWE from her social media accounts. On Monday, things got less cryptic and more direct when Naomi interacted with former WWE star Lindsay Dorado. The former Lucha House Party member asked Naomi, "So, Naomi, when are we doing some lucha things?" Which she replied to with, "ASAP, brother." This exchange could, of course, be merely joking around between friends, but it could also be considered yet another sign Naomi has one foot out of the WWE door, which is also a forbidden door, because all doors are in 2022. Number 4, Jordynne graces Chris Benoit comments. Impact Knockouts world champion Jordynne Grace caused quite the stir on social media last week by posting a tweet in reference to Chris Benoit, saying, "This is going to be the coldest take I ever tweet on this app. I already know y'all are going to be mad. I don't think Benoit could 100% hang with most of the present day best wrestlers. He would not be able to remember matches. Also, may he burn in hell. Amen." This caused Benoit to trend on social media, with fans as well as former wrestlers chiming in on the matter. On Monday, Grace took to Twitter to issue an apology for her insensitive comment and also did an Instagram live with Chris's son David Benoit to further clear the air. After speaking with David, Chavo Guerrero and Chris Jericho, Jordynne made the decision to partner and fundraise with the Concussion Legacy Foundation, pledging $5,000 with the overall campaign goal being $20,000. However, Nancy Benoit's sister Sandra Toffolini didn't take well to the apology, pointing out that the conversation continues to center on Chris Benoit and his actions instead of on her sister. Grace replied to reach out and clear the air with her, so here's hoping there. Number 5, WWE nil recruit dropped from team. WWE announced their inaugural NIL, or NIL, as some would pronounce it, collegiate recruitment class in December 2021, and one of the original 15 recruits was Oklahoma State wrestling star AJ Ferrari. The O'Colly, which is the student-run newspaper at OSU, reported that the amateur wrestler has been dismissed from the Oklahoma State wrestling team this past Monday. This follows Ferrari having recently been served a protection order by a woman in the area of Stillwater, Oklahoma, following unsavory accusations. An investigation is ongoing, though no records have been released on the matter at this time. The 20-year-old AJ Ferrari was one of the only WWE nil recruits with a stellar wrestling background, having won the 2021 National Championship in folk-style wrestling with a 31 record. However, the last thing WWE needs right now is another scandal of this type, so it remains to be seen if this is the end of the road for Ferrari. Number 6, Goldberg, Bret Hart heat. People like traditions, and there are a few wrestling traditions more evergreen than Bret Hart hates Bill Goldberg. The grudge for the Hitman dates back to their infamous Starrcade 99 showdown where Goldberg landed a kick to the head that cut down Hart's wrestling career in his prime. In a recent appearance on the Michael Kay show, the former undefeated WCW star discussed how he feels about Bret Hart's relentless comments about his in-ring abilities, saying, "As Goldberg the character and as Goldberg the human, there's no question about it. When an accident happens and you tell your side of the story and nobody believes it, especially the person who was negatively affected by it, it sucked." What else can I say? I said I was sorry, that it was unintentional, that it was the furthest thing from my mind, I don't know, a million times, and those million times he's come back with, yes, it was intentional, he's a punk and he didn't know what I was doing and it ruined my career, so it sucks. Number 7, talent reactions to Vince McMahon allegations. Vince McMahon has remained in the headlines following the initial allegations about the $3 million hush pack given to a former WWE paralegal. The latest Wall Street Journal report released last Friday said that Vince has paid $12 million in hush money to people, including a former wrestler. Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio reported that he heard from several different wrestlers with varying degrees of thoughts on the matter. One believed that people know what they're getting into when they enter the wrestling business, which is gross, while another talent said that Vince is no-selling the whole thing, and some that believe even talking about the situation backstage could get them in trouble. Another believes the entire matter is very concerning, especially with the former wrestler in question being allegedly coerced. A big name that has made his thoughts public is Chris Jericho, who commented on the allegations during an appearance on the True Geordie podcast prior to the second Wall Street Journal report, saying, "That's Vince McMahon. I think it'll come and go. Is it morally right? Absolutely not. Is it illegal? No. Is it something that's going to get him into real trouble? I don't think so." Once again, unfortunately, it's just Vince McMahon, it's just wrestling. Of course he's going to do that. Those things come and go, they happen. It's too bad, but I really think it doesn't matter in the long run. 6 months from now, I'll either be right or I'll be wrong. Number 8, more Wall Street Journal reports to come. In case you believe this latest Wall Street Journal report will be the end of Vince McMahon's reporting, it seems like more is coming. On Monday morning, the two reporters for the Wall Street Journal, Joe Palazzolo and Ted Mann, appeared on Busted Open Radio to talk about the stories. They confirmed that the reporting is probably not done yet, and they are continuing to report on the matter. When asked if people can expect as big a bombshell as the latest report, Palazzolo said, "I can just say that we don't know about another 7.5 million NDA. If you're asking if there's something bigger than a 7.5 million, no, that's not something we have in our back pocket. We sort of left it all on the field on this story. There are a couple of things that we didn't know that we're still reporting, and sometimes in similar scandals elsewhere, there are people who have something to share who become a little bit more emboldened to talk about it when some of the first coverage has happened. We're still trying to figure out if there are such people out there." Number 9, Darby Allin backflips on a tricycle. A shift in tone then. Darby Allin can always be counted on for ridiculousness with his stunts. After taking a brutal beating at an autograph signing from Brody King to continue their feud, Allin responded the only way he knew how, by riding a tricycle down a huge air ramp to try and backflip at a Nitro Circus event. Darby tried the backflip on 2 occasions. On the first attempt, he failed to get enough rotation and landed on his back. On the second attempt, he looked to land the trick cleanly before over-rotating and ultimately wiping out. Allin came out unscathed. He always does. And number 10, Vince McMahon doesn't want referees to have tattoos. Just when you think we're done talking about crazy Vince, here's another one for the road. This is one to file under his weird quirks in between Vince not liking sneezing and Vince not knowing what burritos are. On the latest edition of his Monday Mailbag podcast, former WWE referee Mike Chioda revealed that McMahon did not want any of his referees to sport tattoos on television. Why? No clue. Maybe Vince just clings to the myth that all referees are solemn, joyless nerds like the rest of us. Chioda admitted that he overcame this ruling with a loophole of sorts, saying, "That's a no-no, can't be wearing sleeves, can't have tats on the arm. I have one on my arm, up here, but my sleeve always covered it." Chioda also noted that McMahon had a visual aversion to the weight of an official and asked him to drop a few pounds at one point. One can only imagine what else was asked of the 31-year WWE veteran, but those little tidbits alone are very telling. And that's our list. What's been your favourite bit of wrestling news of the week? Don't forget to like and subscribe to WrestleTalk for more up-to-the-minute wrestling news, and never forget to jam that jam.